In the thick of the Battle of Manila in early 1945, a 21-year-old private named Cleto Rodriguez found himself facing a nightmare most soldiers would struggle to survive. The war in the Pacific had raged for years, but for Rodriguez it was only 6 weeks into combat. He had no medals, no grand titles, just a Browning automatic rifle, a will to fight, and a mission that seemed impossible. Alongside him was Private First Class John Reese, another 21-year-old rifleman from Oklahoma, a member of the Choctaw Nation. Together, these two men would take on an entrenched enemy force nearly 150 times their number and change the trajectory of a brutal urban campaign. On February 9, 1945, American forces from the 37th Infantry Division faced their third attempt to capture the Paco Railroad Station in southern Manila. The previous two assaults had failed disastrously with heavy casualties. The Japanese had transformed the elegant station into a fortress with interlocking fields of fire, machine gun nests, 20-millimeter cannons, pillboxes, mortars, and overlapping defensive positions. The defenders, numbering around 300, knew the terrain intimately. For the Americans, any approach meant crossing 100 yards of open ground with no cover. Rodriguez and Reese knew the danger. They'd watched men cut down during the last two attempts, and yet, with no orders and no permission, they volunteered themselves for an unspeakably bold tactic, closing the distance. They identified a partially destroyed stone house 60 yards from the station, close enough to threaten the enemy with suppressive fire. They ran across the killing field, dodging machine gun bursts and flying dirt, and made it to the house alive. But now they were isolated, 2 men alone, facing 300 Japanese Marines. Inside the rubble-strewn house, Rodriguez and Reese began a calculated assault. They laid down targeted fire on machine gun nests, 20-millimeter cannon crews, and reinforcements attempting to reach the pillboxes. Japanese troops fell rapidly under their combined fire. Grenades shattered enemy clusters. Every burst from their BARS was deliberate, every shot aimed not just to kill, but to disrupt and disorganize. Within minutes, the Japanese began concentrating all available firepower on the house. Mortars rained down. Machine gun rounds shredded walls. A direct mortar hit collapsed what remained of the roof. Yet Rodriguez and Reese stayed, repelling counterattacks, denying the enemy any opportunity to regain composure. In just over 30 minutes, they had eliminated more than 40 Japanese soldiers and halted reinforcements that could have turned the tide against their pinned-down platoon. Eventually, the house became untenable. Mortars found their mark. Exposed and low on ammunition, the two men made a calculated move, advance even closer. They bounded forward, taking up position just 20 yards from the station. From there, Rodriguez began throwing grenades with precision into known strongpoints. He wasn't aiming for mass casualties. He was disassembling a defense. He threw to fracture command, to unravel organization, to force panic. The results were immediate. Gun crews abandoned their posts, defenders pulled back, coordination broke down. But their ammunition was almost gone. Rodriguez had just 20 rounds left. Reese had 1 magazine. Still, the Japanese kept pressing. Then came the moment Rodriguez would relive for the rest of his life. As they prepared to retreat, a Japanese squad flanked their position. Rodriguez tried to cover them, only to realize he was out of ammo. Reese responded, cutting down several attackers before a single rifle round struck him in the chest. Bleeding and fading fast, he dropped his last magazine. Rodriguez sprinted to him, loaded the weapon, and held the line long enough to ensure the Japanese couldn't push forward. Rodriguez was faced with an impossible decision. Reese could no longer move. Rodriguez couldn't carry him and fight. The rest of the platoon couldn't reach them. As Japanese troops maneuvered to flank again, Reese gave Rodriguez one final gesture: "Go, live." Rodriguez fired one last suppressive burst, turned and ran across the open field under a torrent of fire, bullets snapping past him, adrenaline pushing him beyond exhaustion. He collapsed behind friendly lines with nothing left, no ammo, no energy, and no partner. His actions and Reese's sacrifice had broken the Japanese hold on Paco Station. The platoon advanced, In 10 minutes, they took the building. What two full-scale attacks had failed to accomplish, two riflemen had done with grit, initiative, and precision. Over 80 Japanese soldiers lay dead, directly attributed to Rodriguez and Reese. The Paco Station, a key strongpoint in southern Manila, had fallen. Rodriguez's battle did not end there. 2 days later, he volunteered again, this time for the assault on the Philippine Legislative Building. Well defended and costly to attack, it had already repelled one assault with 43 American casualties. But Rodriguez saw a breach, a collapsed wall that led to a vulnerable ground floor window. With a three-man team, he sprinted across open ground, kicked back a Japanese grenade midair, and climbed inside, injured in the face from fragments. Inside, he opened fire, eliminating a machine gun team, then pressed deeper into the building alone. He threw grenades into rooms, cleared hallways, eliminated resistance with ruthless efficiency. His team followed. Room by room, they helped collapse the building's defenses. By 10 a.m., the stronghold fell. Rodriguez had personally accounted for 10 more enemy soldiers. His facial wound required treatment, but he refused evacuation. The battle wasn't over. Manila wasn't yet free. Rodriguez's actions during those 3 days became legend. He was awarded the Medal of Honor. John Reese, killed during the Paco assault, received the same award posthumously. Reese had no family of his own. Rodriguez later told Reese's cousin that his friend had insisted Rodriguez withdraw first because he had a family to return to. Reese did not. After the war, Rodriguez returned to San Antonio. He married, raised 4 children, and rarely spoke about what he'd done. To him, the real heroes were the ones who didn't come home. He left active service in 1945 but returned to uniform several years later, serving in Korea and Vietnam, ultimately retiring in 1970 as a master sergeant. He received numerous awards, including the Silver Star, Bronze Star, Purple Heart, and multiple campaign medals. His legacy extended beyond the battlefield. He dedicated himself to supporting Hispanic veterans, helping others access education, training, and opportunity. Yet he remained haunted. For 45 years, Rodriguez carried the weight of survival. He dreamed of Reese, heard the rifle shot that killed him, relived the choice to run, to live. His scarred face was visible to others. The scar inside never fully healed. When he died in 1990 at the age of 67, he was buried at Fort Sam Houston National Cemetery in Texas, alongside other Medal of Honor recipients. His grave marks his honors, but not the full cost. John Reese lies in Oklahoma, his markers simple and direct. No children, no descendants, but his name lives in the actions of that day. His story, along with Rodriguez's, embodies the brutal reality of infantry combat, where numbers do not always dictate outcomes. The Japanese had 300 men, fortified positions, and every tactical advantage. But 2 men changed everything through aggression, surprise, and unrelenting pressure. The Paco Railroad Station still stands in partial ruin. Plans to restore it have lingered for years, hindered by bureaucracy. But the bullet holes remain, a testament to the battle fought there, to the 9,000 seconds that defined Cleto Rodriguez's life. Military historians study what happened there as a case study in small unit tactics. But those cold calculations, grenade trajectories, ammo counts, casualty numbers, never capture the true cost. Heroism is not clean. It is not pain-free. It leaves scars. It leaves grief. It leaves memories that never fade. Rodriguez never forgot. And now, because we remember, neither will we.